time for better parenting. And you know, these days it seems we're all very, very busy, but a lot of people still want kids to take time to hear classic literary tales. Well, here comes Mrs. P to the rescue. Tony has more.
Well, more and more these days, kids and computer stuff and devices kind of go hand in hand. But all that modern technology doesn't mean kids can't still tap into classic childhood literature. Proof of that can be found at mrsp.com. For Dana Ploutz, the passion for reading started very early.
When they were reading James and the Giant Peach and Charlotte's Web, and just loved to go to school to sit in the reading circle and hear the stories.
That same passion is alive today, and it's the driving force behind a friendly, adventurous storyteller with a quick wit and sense of humor. Her name is Mrs. P.
We thought it would just be really fun to do something that we controlled the content of and something that we could feel really great about. We brainstormed, and kind of this is what grew out of it.
Dana and co-creator Clay Graham launched MrsP.com, a website where kids can read a story or just sit back and hear a story. It's fun, safe, and truly has its heart in the right place. Young readers are flocking to it by the thousands.
A lot of children don't have that experience of someone reading them a story. It's not that she fills the void of someone reading a story to them, but for children that don't get that attention rather than a cartoon character, this is really the only thing that like it on the web.
When 4-year-old Odessa visits Mrs. P, her dad, John, is right there with her.
It's crazy how good they are at operating it. I have a smartphone and she has applications. She has more applications on there than I do.
Dana and Clay both believe that books don't end on the final page. In fact, that's where the real adventure, the one launched from the reader's imagination, truly begins.
Everybody who reads a book has a different version of it in their head, and that's something that you create yourself, which you don't quite get from movies and television.
Mrs. P's Magic Library is filled with dozens of classic books and stories from children's literature. Kids make the selection, and everyone settles in for some good old-fashioned story time.
We wanted to spark that imagination in children and let them have an experience they might be missing.
And if you think Mrs. P looks a little like Mimi from the Drew Carey Show, that's because she is. Both characters are played by Hollywood actress Kathy Kinney. In fact, the storytelling is filmed in her Hollywood home.
She gets into costume, and we talk about the introductions, and we rehearse a little bit. But it's very casual, it's very fun. It's what I thought showbiz always should be. And Kathy Kinney will cook us lunch and everything between it, and it's just a really pleasant experience.
One thing MrsP.com doesn't have is advertising.
There is no advertising on there, and there's no place for them once they're in this magic library to stray. And that, I think, is really reassuring to a parent.
But parents aren't the only ones raving about Mrs. P. The site's won numerous awards from some of the most prestigious organizations in children's literacy.
So we have the teachers, the libraries, the parents, and the literacy organizations all thinking Mrs. P is a great, safe place.
You can debate the reasons why, but there's little doubt that nationally, children's literacy rates are declining. Mrs. P doesn't like that, and she's doing her part to change it with warmth, humor, and the timeless power of a great story read really, really well.
It's a real feel-good operation.
Yeah. Well, the main point here is that Mrs. P is not a babysitter and certainly would never replace you as a parent to read to your kids. More of a launching pad is a way to think of it to inspire your kids to do more reading and more creative play on their own. I'm Tony Martinez. Thanks for watching.
When Tony asked Dana how she maintains a website with no advertising, she laughed and said, "We're very generous." And they are. If you'd like to check out Mrs. P, just go to our website and follow the link.